This is a Wi-Fi camera for microscopes, and you can use it with spotting scopes and telescopes. So it comes in a packaging like this. You get an instruction manual. The instruction manual has a QR code to download the application. They have an app that I've tried from the Google Play Store that worked fine. When you go to there, it also gives you options for a Windows computer software. So what you get in the package is this main body, which houses a little Wi-Fi radio and an imaging sensor. And I believe there is an infrared cut filter here that has that red tinge on it. And if you look really deep inside there, there's a small imaging chip. And it comes with little rubber covers for both that guy and, one end of this guy. So this is an optical thing. They call it a zoom tube. It's the only thing that has screws that this guy screws into. So you pretty much always use this guy with that 2x zoom tube. So they include 3 adapters. There's the 30.5 and the 30 millimeter, which I believe are for microscopes. And then this guy here is the 31.75, and that is a 1.25 inch eyepiece. So if you have a spotting scope or a telescope that uses the very standard 1.25 inch eyepieces, you'd put this in, you can fix it in, and this guy can go in there. Now, it doesn't have any threads or screws to hold it in. So if you have, a 90-degree or a 45-degree viewfinder, that's fine, it'll stay there. But if your telescope moves so that this is facing down, it's just going to fall out. So you can't use it where this guy would be facing down. There's no way to do that. I mean, you could, I suppose, glue this together or tape it and then use your screws in your telescope to hold it in, and that could work. So when I got it from the factory, it was discharged. I had to charge it up. They provide a USB A to C cable for charging. It also will correctly charge on a power delivery cable, so you can use pretty much any USB-C cable to charge this guy up. The charging requirements are very minimal power to charge it up. And then you hold the on-off button, and it starts flashing this light. If you're using it at night at astronomy, that light is pretty bright. It's a blue flashing light. When a phone or a computer connects to the Wi-Fi, this guy acts as an access point, so you connect to its Wi-Fi. It assigns you an IP address. This guy will turn solid when something's connected to it. So I put this in a spotting scope, used it in the daytime, and it worked pretty well. So on my little telescope here, I have this adapter. It fits in where the 1.25 inch eyepiece would fit very nicely. I can tighten that in so the adapter itself is held in firmly. This guy is just kind of friction gravity fitting in there. So if I were to point this up to look at the sun or something high up in the sky, at some point this guy just kind of falls out. So that's non-optimal for astronomy usage. So I'm pointing the telescope at the weather station at the top of that pole. And here you can see on the phone there's a live video over Wi-Fi of the weather station. It at a slide that's all the way across the lake. And here on the phone you can see, there's the picture of the slide. One wrinkle on the application is that if I shot HD resolution, kind of 16:9, the videos would not play back. They'd have a weird artifact. It was obviously recording something, but it wasn't playing back correctly in the app or in external video players. So I had to change to kind of the native resolution, which is a 4:3 square resolution. It's actually a higher resolution, and when I recorded videos in that, it worked correctly. Now, pictures worked for any resolution. The USB port here is only for charging. If you plug it into a computer, it does not recognize it as a webcam. It doesn't enumerate at all. It would have been nice if this could double as kind of a webcam connection for a USB connection, but it doesn't. Also, the interface it uses is proprietary, so you have to use their applications. I connected to it and tried to use VLC just under a couple of standard streaming protocols, and none of them work. So it's some proprietary protocol, and you're basically going to be stuck with their applications. That means you can't use it on Linux. You can use it on Android, iOS, or Windows, but you have to use their apps for it. So image quality wasn't bad, especially during the daytime. It does auto exposure pretty well in the daytime. Now, this is equivalent to about a 5mm eyepiece for telescope eyepieces, so it's quite a bit of magnification. That's fine if you're doing spotting scopes to look at a target. It might be too much magnification for some telescopes. It's definitely not going to let you look at large astronomical objects. So I took it out at night, put it on my telescope. I could, record the Mars, and Mars was a little bit wavy because the seeing wasn't great that night. But, I got a view of a round dot that was the right color. I split caster, and you could clearly see, yes, there's 2 stars. It's a binary star system. The auto exposure was kind of searching for light, and so it turned up the gain a lot, and so the stars were bigger than I think they should be. I think it's just not optimized for telescope use. I think it would work really well in a microscope. It works pretty well daytime terrestrial spotting scope type things, but astronomically, it's better than nothing. It actually does a reasonably decent job at this price point. It is a low price point camera, but I think if you paid twice as much for a dedicated astronomy, planetary camera, you'd get better quality output. It also has a plus-minus button here. I wouldn't even bother using them at that point. So, if you have a microscope and you want to stream or record to a cell phone or a computer over Wi-Fi, I think this would work pretty well for you. It's okay for spotting scopes, daytime use. It worked at night, but the image quality really wasn't worth paying money for to capture the images. So, I mean, it definitely worked. It did okay. At this price point, I'm not disappointed in the quality, but I think I would save up more money for a better camera for telescope use at night. So the package is nice. I would keep the package to store it in. The only weirdness is that the brand name on the actual physical camera does not match the brand name in the picture on the manual or on the box. So there's a little weirdness there.